All right, good evening. Welcome to Oviedo City Council Chambers. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and can I ask the Weeblo Pack 39 if you guys want to come up and lead us? You come right up here. And we got our flag right back here. So you guys face the flag? Got one more. All right, whenever you're ready. I pledge allegiance. Thank you guys.
Great job.
Great job. Please join me in a moment of silence. I would like to call our meeting to order. It is December 1st at approximately 6:30 p.m., and we have all members of council present. I'll start with our first order of business, which is the approval of the minutes. What is the pleasure of council?
I move we approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. We're going to move on to the oaths of office. So we'll go on down and get right to it.
All right.
Do you want to bring Paul and Carson? Hello. Hello, Mayor. Congratulations on another term. And for folks who don't know this, her father was a city council person for several years, Phil. And it was always a pleasure to know him and your mother. Been in the community for a long time. And one thing you say about Megan is she always listens, and she always has an opinion, and always wants input, and is always on the job. So I do appreciate that, an elected official. So it's my honor here to swear you in. She has her family, Paul, the husband over here. We have Carson and Aaron. Good job. Good to see you here. He's going to be holding it.
All right.
All right. Put your left hand. Yep.
I got to share. This Bible has actually traveled down every single street in the city of Oviedo. So it's a special one. That's why it's kind of beat up. It was in a bike basket that was metal.
Fantastic. Well, it's my pleasure to be here, my honor. So if you raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Megan Sladek,
I'm Megan Sladek,
a citizen of the state of Florida
a citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States,
and of the United States,
and being an officer of the city of Oviedo,
and being an officer of the city of Oviedo,
and a recipient of public funds as such officer,
and a recipient of public funds as such officer,
do hereby solemnly affirm
do hereby solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida.
I further affirm
I further affirm
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of mayor of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
the duties of mayor of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Good job, Carson. Good job, Paul. Good job, Aaron. Fantastic.
Well, I'd love to get a picture with anybody who's willing to be in one up here. And the scouts, yes! So these guys came on a very special day and just got a quick tour of upstairs to see what we do here at City Hall, including all of the transparency efforts. And since we've got the clerk of the court here, he's sort of the lead transparency officer for the county. So very excited that you could be here. Thank you for helping swear me in. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Next up, we have Natalie Tukert. Oh, wait. Oh, do we do it in the middle? The pause at the very end? Can we do that? Okay. Okay.
I guess we're proceeding.
I'm the wrong way. Which way am I?
Let's see. Folks are going to be taking pictures that direction, so I will hold it this way.
And then right here.
That's right. Making sure I'm close enough to be able to read the mic. I have the pleasure of administering the oath to our current deputy mayor and council member Natalie Tukert. So please repeat after me. I, Natalie Tukert,
I, Natalie Tukert,
a citizen of the state of Florida
a citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America,
and being an officer of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
and being an officer of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
and a recipient of public funds
and a recipient of public funds,
as such officer,
do
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of council member of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
the duties of council member of the city of Oviedo, Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right. And now we have some housekeeping to take care of. I'd like to invite forward Amy Pennock, Supervisor of Elections, and our City Clerk, Elian Rivera, who is, a lot of people don't realize this, our City Clerk is the Supervisor of Elections for purposes of city elections. So part of it, the counting, is outsourced to the County Clerk or Supervisor of Elections. So let me pass this off for all the things.
Well, it's our honor to present together the certificate of election to you, Mayor Megan Sladek, and Natalie Tukert. So thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you.
Well, we had different supervisor of elections.
I stashed it, huh?
Y'all good? Okay.
Think so.
All right, we will move on to item number 3, where the council elects the presiding officer and deputy mayor. What is the pleasure of council?
I think we need to turn it over to the city attorney to start.
Do we? I don't have any
Chair
notes
the
on this
meeting
one.
for a season.
I would ask you all about that. Is it your practice in the past that you turn it over to the city attorney to administer that?
I don't,
Yes.
That's in the, yes.
I don't quite remember, but sure, go for it.
I'm glad to do it if you'd like.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will go ahead and do that then. The next order of business is the election of a presiding officer. I will open the floor for nominations.
Well, Oviedo has a phenomenal charter that allows the presiding officer to change every year and not necessarily be the mayor. And I have had the honor of nominating all but one of my colleagues so far, and would like to nominate the one that I haven't yet, and that is Alan Ott.
Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Natalie Tukert.
All right. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. I know how I normally administer votes like this in a number of other jurisdictions, but I would ask, because I wasn't anticipating administering this, in the instances where you have two candidates and you have 5 folks voting, the typical way that I see it administered is that voting is not yea or nay, but to have the roll called and members state which one they're voting for. Is there any objection to that procedure? Hearing none, I would ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Britton,
Ms. Tukert?
Councilmember Boterford,
Tukert.
Deputy Mayor Tukert,
Tukert.
Councilmember Ott,
I think we're done.
Let's make it unanimous. Tukert.
Mayor Sladik.
Tukert.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's, we're good on that end?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad at least now that I can say that I have nominated all of you to be the presiding officer.
And I appreciate the unanimous vote. So we will move on to item number 4, which is a ceremonial item for Art in the Chambers. And I believe I tried to jump the gun on this one last week, so I'm excited to get it going. But Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Tonight, if you've noticed on the walls, we have changed out the art in the chambers. And these are an exhibition from a local artist, Mr. Kathleen Safi. And did you want to come up? Ms. Safi is here tonight and would like to introduce her. And I'll have Dr. Correa come up, and we can to be able to open the exhibit.
Okay.
Good evening and congratulations, Deputy Mayor, Mayor, and council members. Good evening. So actually, I'm going to turn to Kathleen Crane. She's our the Public Art Board chairperson, and she'll present the artist.
Hi, Kathleen Crane. Good to be here. I'm excited to present Kathleen Safi's exhibition here. This is the 3rd installment of Arts in the Chambers, which was a recommendation from the Public Arts Board last year. So Kathleen, would you like to say a few words?
Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. And thank you especially to Dr. Correa and the whole Oviedo Arts Board for their leadership in providing this space to showcase local art. It means a great deal to have a place where local artists can share their work with the community. The pieces I'm showing tonight are inspired by the beauty of Oviedo, its landscapes, its birds, and the sense of community that comes from being surrounded by so much nature. Even as Oviedo continues to grow, there's a strong connection to its roots, and that's something that makes this city feel so special. Oviedo is a bird sanctuary, and while chickens used to roam freely and still do in a few corners, it's the sandhill cranes that capture the character of the town for me. On one of my family walks, as you saw them back there, we were walking along. At that time, it was the four of us. We were walking 4 by 4, and then across the street from us was a family of sandhill cranes, also 4 of them, walking in perfect synchronization with us. And we just got such a giggle out of it. They walked fast, and so then we walked fast. They started to stop and peck. We pretended to stop and peck. We were just having such a great time looking at them and reflecting, and we realized by seeing them as a flock that we as well were a flock. We were a community. And I love how the birds in Oviedo remind us of being a community. You see, birds in Central Florida actually act in a very unique way. In the wintertime, instead of staying with their like kind, the birds here actually form a chosen flock, birds of different species coming together for the sake of protection and community. And I think that just reflects so beautifully how we as Oviedo, as a city, are as we continue to grow, how people from all different places have a home here. A lot of the work here is using birds to show community. And one that I want to reflect on is called It's called Gnat Catchers. And that one I made to reflect on a community of mothers that I found here in Oviedo. You see, gnat catchers are small, tiny little birds that spend their days grabbing insects out of the air. And it might seem inconsequential, but you know, it's a lot like the community of mothers that I call my chosen flock. It's a lot how you guys, as a city council, probably work too. Sometimes it seems like small, inconsequential tasks, but when it all comes together, it helps to keep the ecosystem alive. And without you, the city would also fall apart. Also, you'll see a lot of landscapes in the collections I'm presenting here. Something from the Florida Trail, and one that I particularly love to see every day is the view from Mitchell Hammock. To me, it's kind of like my Monet's haystacks, where every day I go past and I like to see how the colors change. And it's that little pause, a moment of beauty that Oviedo still offers. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share this work with you, and I hope it does encourage people to pause, notice, and appreciate the natural beauty and the sense of community that makes Oviedo such a meaningful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
I know we're not down there right now, but would you like to get a photo with your family up
Sure.
here with us?
Yeah, sure.
And I just want to say thank you again. At our last meeting, I tried to show it off because I walked in here and was so excited. It was so pretty in here. But thank you for sharing your art with us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so glad Oviedo has this space now. Thank you.
Next up, we have public comment. I do have 2 written requests to speak. So when I call your name, just come up and state your name. The first one I have up here is Donald Terry.
Good evening. I live at 1911 Silverweed Way, across the street from the mall. And I wanted to just bring something up. I don't know if it's your jurisdiction. I know decisions have been made already about the light at the corner of Dovera and Oviedo Mall Boulevard. I sat there today for 10 minutes in the mall parking lot watching what goes on. And it really is staggering what goes on. One person leaving from Target, heading to 429, went straight through the light at 30 miles per hour, did not stop or heed the stop signs at all. I would say 80% of the people driving from 426 and turning right onto Dovera off Oviedo Mall Boulevard do not stop. They just coast through, some speed through, but really no one came to a complete stop. I know you've had police out there patrolling. I've seen the sheriff. I've seen the local police. I don't think it really has any effect besides giving out some tickets. Our neighborhood is zoned for high density. There's all those units going up behind the Jewel. I mean, I don't know if anybody's looked to see how enormous that project is, but it goes all the way from 417 to 426. I mean, it has to be another 500 units at least. I mean, it's enormous. So there is a fair amount of traffic. I know you had a counter out there, and it was deemed not enough cars went by to have a stoplight, but, you know, we live there. I see on a regular basis people go through the light quite often. There's going to be an accident. There'll be a T-bone or something, but it's dangerous. And that's my only comment. I don't know whose jurisdiction it is or who made the decision not to replace the light, but it's really not a good situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have Lawrence DiNapolo.
Good evening. Thank you. Let me start by saying I completely agree with Mr. Terry. But my comment is about Sweetwater Park. I visit the park fairly regularly, and I love the place, especially the boardwalk. But I notice something every time I enter and exit. The road on the way in and the road on the way out is awful. And I would like the council and the town to consider paving the road. It's dirt, there's potholes, big holes, and it's, I don't know, I go about 2 miles an hour hoping not to damage my car on the way in. So my request is that you take a look at it and see what can be done. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I do not have any other written requests to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address council at this time? Hearing none, I will close public comment and we will move on. We do not have a consent agenda, which is wild. But we'll move on to our public hearing, number 7, which is ordinance number 1761, amendment to chapter 28. Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I believe we need to have Mr. Vose read the
Mr.
ordinance
Vose.
by title only.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This is ordinance number 1761, an ordinance of the City of Oviedo, Florida, amending Chapter 28, Articles 1 and 2 of the City of Oviedo Code of Ordinances, updating impact fees for parks and recreation, fire and rescue, law enforcement, and administrative facilities, revising related definitions, processes, and methods of calculation, adopting an impact fee technical report for parks and recreation, fire and rescue, law enforcement, and administrative facilities, revising definitions concerning mobility fees, and providing for conflicts, severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. If you remember back, you did first reading at your last meeting on November the 17th. And at that time, you asked the staff and the consultant to incorporate accessory dwelling units into the mobile residence land use code. And that has been done. We incorporated them in all of the different impact fee categories. Jonathan Paul, who is our consultant, is here tonight. He is prepared to make a presentation should you wish that he do so. But everything has still remained the same from your discussion item back in October as well as first reading in November. The basics of this impact fee update is that we've changed the methodology for the impact fees, in which we've gone from a consumption-based methodology, which was what we had before, to a project-driven based methodology. It is all based on local data. It does, in our opinion, meet the dual rational nexus. It did, because we did change the calculation methodology, the fees are increasing greater than 50%. State law now requires that when you have a fee that is increasing greater than 50%, it has to be allocated. You can't increase it greater than 50%, and that the increase has to be allocated over a period of 4 years, equally over those 4-year period. This ordinance does do that. It allocates the increase equally over the 4-year period. Like I said, Mr. Paul is here. He can answer any questions you may have. Also, if you would like him to give the presentation, he can give the presentation as well. But this is a public hearing, so we would recommend that you conduct a public hearing and adopt ordinance number 1761.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cobb. As far as the presentation, we have heard it. Did anybody up here want to hear it for a third time? I will offer it. I think we're okay here. So at this time, I'm going to
No
open.
offense.
No, we're good. I'm going to open up the public hearing, and I don't have any written requests. So is there anyone in the audience that would like to address council on this topic? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and ask what the pleasure of council is.
I move we adopt ordinance number 1761.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just want to reiterate from last time that even though we are going to raise impact fees as high as we can, it is still not going to be high enough to actually cover the cost. So we are doing our very best to stay on top of this, because this is one of the very few tools that remain to local governments to try to make sure that the new people coming to town are paying for the impacts they bring and not shoving it off on the people who are already here. So we're doing our best. We're not going to quite get there, but we have a plan to attempt to catch up, and it's going to probably be, and Mr. Paul can probably speak to this, more like a 7 to 8 year horizon to be able to catch up under the limits put on us by the state legislature. So talk to your state legislators. They have really tied our hands on this one.
Councilmember Butterford?
I'm good.
Good. All right, then I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Slavic,
Aye.
Councilmember Boterford,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Tukert,
Aye.
Councilmember Britton,
Aye.
Councilmember Ott.
Aye.
The motion carries. We do not have any first reading of ordinances or resolutions, so we'll move on to discussion item number 10, which is the annual appointment or reappointment to the city boards. Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Tonight you have appointments for two of the boards serving the city. One is the local planning agency. We have 2 positions that, with terms expiring on December 31st. Mr. David Dever, who is asking for reappointment, and Ms. Lisa Ramsey, who has submitted her resignation, so we will need to fill her seat. We also have, on the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board, we have 2 positions expiring on December the 31st. Mr. Jay Getty and Mr. Ed Wiggins, both of them have requested reappointment. And so I'll turn it back over to you, Deputy Mayor, for the pleasure of council.
Okay. And I know we always like to start and ask, is there anybody who came out tonight for appointment to these boards? If you guys want to come up and just kind of speak to, why you want reappointment or you're running. You want to start us off, Mr. DeVore?
Did you prepare something?
I'm David Dever. I'm served 2 years on the LPA, and I'm asking for a reappointment. My purpose for it is, I think it's an excellent volunteer position to take up and to get to know your local government and how it works. And I like the educational aspect with it, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you want to come up?
Good evening. My name is James Grebe. I live here in Oviedo. I lived here for 20 years. My wife Jessica was born and raised here. We love the community. We love the city. We've raised our family here. Our sons went to Parton and to Carillon and to Lawton Childs and to Haggerty. I've served as a Pop Warner football coach in the community, den leader for a Cub Scout troop. I served as the president for the Haggerty High School Athletic Boosters Club, and I'm just looking for more ways to be involved in the community. You know, we're planning on staying here forever. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start with our LPA board. So we have two positions. Mr. Dever is looking to stay in his position, so I guess we'll start off with that. Is anybody against that?
I'm okay with
I think he's doing a great job.
All right, you got it. Ms. Lisa Ramsey did resign, so we have that position to open, so I guess,
I nominate Mr. Rebbe.
all right. Do we
I am
need
good with that.
any other nominations? All right, congratulations, sir. Thank you. Welcome to our LPA board. We will move on to our Parks and Rec board, which looks like we have Mr. Jay Getty and Ed Wiggins looking for reappointment. Is anybody looking to nominate? Anybody else?
I'm good with the
I'm good
reappointments.
with those two reappointments.
You guys good? Okay, then we'll stick with our current people. Thank you guys for volunteering, and it's always good to see multiple applications come in to serve our city. We appreciate it. So let's move on to item number 11, which is the Central Florida Pledge that I believe the mayor brought up at the last meeting. So, Mr. Cobb or Mayor Sladig?
I think I'll lead off. This is a request for council to give us direction regarding joining the Central Florida Pledge. Mayor Sladig did ask at your last meeting and received consensus to have a discussion item. The Central Florida, what you're being asked to consider is the Central Florida Pledge Business Network. And through this network, members commit to treating everyone with dignity and respect, listening, especially when you disagree, creating spaces that are safe and welcoming for all, speaking up with courage when it matters, and taking small, consistent steps toward a stronger community. I'd like to introduce Mr. Joel Hunter. He is here with us tonight. He is the chairman of the Central Florida Pledge, and he said that he is available to address any questions. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor, since you requested the consensus at the last meeting.
Well, it's a pretty simple concept. It is just an outward statement that we're going to be nice to people and make sure that we listen to other viewpoints, especially when we disagree with them. And I think that's something that this body does a particularly excellent job of already. And I can't think of any reason why we wouldn't take a step to just say, hey, this is how we operate. And if that adds a little credibility or oomph to the movement and encourages other people to think about how they might be able to actively try to understand different viewpoints, it's a good thing for us to try.
I'm fine with it.
I would love if Dr. Hunter would hop up real quick. If you could do like a 2-minute little explanation of where it came from, where is it now, but like really 2 minutes, if you can.
Great. First of all, let me say, I love this. I'm so glad I came tonight because there's so much, this is America. This is awesome. Central Florida Pledge has been in existence a little under 2 years, or a little over 2 years now. Started off with the alarm of the rise of anti-Semitism after the October 7th attack. We thought we would just kind of rally the troops, so to speak. It is the only network with every sector in Central Florida represented. We started out with just leaders' signatures, and we got signatures from the heads of governments, law enforcement, of course. Sheriff Lima was one of the first to sign. Education, all of the universities, nonprofits, businesses, arts and entertainment, I mean, all of the sectors. And basically, it is the commitment of adults to do what we teach all of our kindergartners to do. Be kind, be honest, stand up for anybody who's getting picked on, and treat people with respect. And the reason we think it's necessary, and more organizations are signing on. I mean, all of the big ones. I drive Chamber of Commerce, all of the 800-pound gorillas, Rosen, and of course the city of Orlando. The great thing about Oviedo is that Oviedo would be the first city in Seminole County to do so. But it's the very thing that we want to model for our kids. It builds a safer community. The culture is getting more and more divisive and accusatory and attack-oriented. And this is just a counter to that, saying, no, that's not who we are. That's not who we want to be. We want to model this for our kids and build a future for them. We can't fix the Middle East, can't fix the United States, can't even fix Florida, but we can fix our own community. And so it's just a positive, non-political, has nothing to do with politics. It's just a citizens-based solution to what is an increasing problem in our culture. And I'd love if Oviedo could lead the way here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm completely on board, as I was last week. So it sounds like we're all good.
Sure.
Well, we're happy to be the first city in Seminole County to sign on to that. Thank you for coming out, sir.
Deputy
thank you
Mayor,
for doing that.
What we'll do a resolution for you
Okay.
and have it so that all 5 of you can sign.
Excellent.
All right, so that'll be December 17th's agenda. We'll sign that, and it'll be official before we kick off 2026. All right.
If we could have a ceremony to get you guys on video so that everybody could see your leadership, that'd be great.
Yep, we can do that at the next meeting. All right, we'll move on to item number 12, which is our Land Development Code update discussion. Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. If you recall, the city adopted a brand-new land development code. And when I say brand new, I mean we basically carried very little of the old code into it. It was a completely rewritten, reformatted, everything. Mr. Ott asked me a couple of weeks ago, tell me about a glitch. What is a glitch ordinance? Is that a term of art? And I said, well, yes, it is. It is a term of art. Anytime you rewrite your regulations and you adopt them and then you start to implement them, you start to find things that maybe it was an unintended consequence, or maybe it was something that you thought it was working at the time, but when you actually got into the implementation, there was something that needed to be changed. You tend to find things that, in the code enforcement world, they say that's not enforceable. So you do what you call a glitch ordinance. And the glitch ordinance is to fix all those little things that you find within the first 8 months to a year after you adopt it. And so tonight, this is a discussion item. The staff has been compiling all those little glitch items that they found, some of which involve the zoning map, some of which involve the permissible uses table, and throughout the other chapters of the Land Development Code. And so they wanted to bring that for you tonight as a discussion item, and then this will kick off the public hearing process for this glitch ordinance. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Pierre, and she'll walk you through the various changes. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Correa.
So good evening again. I'm a little bit jet lagged, so I have Ms. Pierre here to jump in if I start to, to crash here. But as Mr. Cobb said, this is the glitch ordinance. We'd like to go over the changes we are proposing. And the LDC is a living document, so it's never really finalized. But I'll try to go quickly. The categories of change that we are proposing, some are just the map amendments that we are trying to resolve the conflicting issues with the zoning and the future land use. Also some changes based on Florida statutes, some clarification, and some corrections. So I'll go quickly. The first one is really just the statutes now require final plats to be approved administratively. So this is just to reflect that. And it will be shown in 2 different sections of the code. So now final plats will be approved by staff if they comply with the PSP, the preliminary subdivision plan. Next slide. This one was a change that we discussed some time ago with council. We were trying to find a way for small redevelopment on site plans not to require a whole site plan. So we decided to propose for detached accessory structures or a situation as an outdoor seating. If you have the infrastructure on the site to accommodate these changes, then it can go straight to a building permit stage. So that is the change that we are proposing over there. Next slide, please. These are two amendments that we did. One is just to move a language, relocate language on the inspections that were in the final plat to the site permit, site construction permit section. And the second one was to allow for different types of guarantee, performance and maintenance guarantee, not only a bond guarantee bond. So these are just also two minor changes. Next slide. This one again is just to reflect the final plat being approved now by staff. Next slide, please. This one, we just added this language because in the past, the code said for a lot split or a lot aggregation, the new lot had to be conforming. So the structures and the lot had to be conforming. And we just wanted to add language to say that is true, but it's also unless there is an existing legally non-conforming structure on lot. So we are kind of recognizing that some structures are legally non-conforming and then they can stay, even with a lot split or a lot aggregation. Next slide. This is the table that shows the list of future land use designations in the zoning, the respective zoning districts. So we corrected that R1 BB should be the medium density residential and not in the low density residential. And we included PLI in all the zoning categories and PUDs in the ones that the comprehensive plan already established. And we'll go back to this table when we talk about the zoning map amendments. Next slide, please. This one was also a correction because we, when we did the code last year, we added one zoning district, which is the R1C for the Milton Square area. And these are very small, narrow lots that we have over there. So we created this particular zoning district not to have the property owners have to come and request for deviations over and over again. But we forgot to address the corner lots. So in our code, if you have a corner lot, you have front setbacks into areas. But of course, if you have a 28-feet lot, if you require 2 areas to have 20 feet, then you make the lot non-buildable. So we corrected to have in a street side setback would be only minimum 10 feet. Next slide. These are the changes that we did in the table of permissible use. We included the community residential home, which is commercial. So it's a category for residential homes between 7 and 14 bedrooms as a permissible use in the downtown neighborhood. We have a situation of an applicant that is waiting for this change to be able to make the transition that they want. And that is something that we did not foresee in the last year. We also clarified the different retail square footages. Now we have the small retail category in the mobility plan, and that we have different categories of retail, and depending on the size, they are allowed in more uses. We also included the light industry and manufacturing as a special exception in RP and OC zoning districts, also to comply with the comprehensive plan. And we included government as a use in all the zoning districts that we thought that government office could be a good use. And we added the solar facilities, the floating solar facilities, and the resiliency facility, as we also discussed in the comprehensive plan, that it also comes from a statute's requirement. Next slide. This one, we had the requirement that multifamily with more than 50 units and commercial with more than 30,000 square feet have to provide, so those developments have to provide 2 access points. But this one clarifies that it's not only multifamily, it's if you have single family developments with more than 50 units, they also would have to provide 2 access points. Next slide. This one is just adding that a PUD can be accompanied by a conceptual development plan or a master land use plan, also matching the language in the comp plan. Next slide. This is just to clarify how we calculate the density bonus. That when you have different categories that are possible for density bonus, but they apply if you're going to have 100% of the bonus. It's only the bonus density. So it's just if you have 8 dwelling units per acre as the by right, but you can reach up to 10. It's the percentage only is applicable on the 2 density bonus. So this is just to clarify how we calculate. Next slide. These, again, some clarifications on the detached accessory structures. It's providing language for the street side and for the side setback. And the same for the next slide, which is for accessory pool structures and patio and screen enclosures. So this is just clarification how first of all, how they are measured and the street side component. Next slide. The first one is the situation of through lots. So we have that already as an administrative rule, but now we codified in the code. And the design and maintenance on the bottom for fences, it's something that we had in the code, but it was removed. And that's saying that fences have to be kept in the upright condition, and that is an important feature for code enforcement. So we brought it back. Next slide. These are just clarifying that for arterial roads, we have now setbacks if the arterial is not a FDOT road, if it's in the city. So that is just to add for those situations. Next slide. This, again, just clarifying that walkways inside parking lots would be instead of 5 feet, 4 foot width, the walkway. Next slide. This is language that for PUDs, if you don't have sign standards for commercial properties, then it will automatically be considered to follow the C1 standards. So this was language that we had because some PUDs do not have language for signs. Next slide, please. Again, a very particular situation for signs, side setbacks for lots that are less than 30 feet. Then you share the difference and put it in the equidistant from both sides. So very specific little changes that staff by applying the code, thought it was important to clarify. Next slide, please. This is just in the table of in the schedule for the tree replacement. They did not include the preservation. So the tree replacement and preservation follow the same schedule. Next slide. This is just to correct that mini parks do not apply for the downtown core and the downtown transition zoning. Was already stated in the other sections of the code, but this note was kept, so we had to remove that. Next slide. This is to clarify that in mixed-use development, the residential component will have to provide mini parks as well. Next slide. These are definitions that we had to include for resiliency facility, solar facility, floating solar facility, and the staff also included water vessel that was not there. Next slide. So these are now, we're going to talk about the zoning maps. In the zoning maps, we had to change, to amend for two reasons. One is to make the zoning compliant with the comprehensive plan. So as you see over there, the public, so we have two situations that we're going to show. Some zonings that we changed to PLI to match the public future land use, and those that had to meet the medium density MDR, medium density residential. So in public, the only zoning allowed is PLI. So if you have a public future land use, the proper zoning that you have to be assigned is the PLI, and that's the change that we are doing for some of the projects. And in MDR, R1 is not a proper zoning. So those situations that we found that we had MDR and R1, we changed to R1B. So these are the changes that we are going to show right now. So next slide, please. So these are the two properties that one is the Lodge and the other one is the American Legion that we discussed last time. They have a public future land use. This is the future land use. Next slide. On the left, you have the existing zoning map, which is RP, and then on the right is the proposed PLI. So that's why we are changing. The next slide, please. These are all the city work, public works properties. We are changing from today, they are public future land use, but they have, next slide please, they have an industrial zoning, so we are changing to PLI. This one, the issue was that they have today downtown transition, future land use, but last year we did the R1C zoning district. Next slide, please. So we had to correct to bring them to be compliant with the comprehensive plan, and it's downtown neighborhood. That's the proper zoning for them. Next slide. These are two situations of two subdivisions that we had R1 zoning with MDR future land use. So we are changing now for R1B to match the future land use. It's also in those situations, we are also making the zoning reflect the sizes of the lots, because those lots, for instance, Allendale over there, the plat is actually 50 feet, but they use 1.5 lots, so it's 75. So they are non-conforming lots to the R1 zoning, which requires a minimum of 80 feet in width. So the R1B is a better zoning for that, for the configuration that they have. So that's what we are proposing for those two lots and for the two subdivisions. And if we go further, you see the only difference between R1 and R1B is that R1B allows townhomes. But townhomes would be difficult to to be rearranged in those subdivisions, because then you have to meet the density and you have to meet the other requirements. We do not have R1B today in the zoning map, so if there is any question about allowing townhome, we could remove townhomes as a permissible use in R1B. And there will be no difference in the uses allowed in R1 and R1B. So I'm just going to, we are not proposing that. We did not think about proposing that because I don't think there are many practical situations that you could have townhomes in those subdivisions, but if there is any worry about that, we could remove townhome as a permissible use in R1B.
And you said R1B is nowhere else in the city.
We
So
don't
we're-
have
we're-
any.
We're just doing this to make this conform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next slide. So again, this is what they have today. On the left, R1, and then what we are proposing, R1B. Next slide. We have, these are the other subdivisions that we have that, again, moving from R1B to, from R1 to R1B to meet the medium density residential. Next slide. Well, that's showing the change. And this is the timeline. So this, we had already a discussion with a work session with LPA. They identified one actually word to change from may to shall, and they were correct. We changed that. So the plan is to bring the leach ordinance to LPA as a in the public hearing December 16th, and January 5th, the first hearing at council, and then the adoption, hopefully January 20th. And I'm available if you have any questions. My staff is also here, so.
Okay, thank you. And I hope you had a good Thanksgiving traveling.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Correa while she's up here?
Eliane, can you bring up the presentation, Chart 11? I just caught something on Chart 11 that looked like it had some items on there that wasn't on the presentation. I thought I saw some stuff about solar facilities.
Oh, yeah.
The state statute that it has to be allowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's here. If you go back to,
Chart 11. Oh, sorry. I thought you were running it.
It was on the presentation.
it was, I think it was not in your presentation.
It wasn't in ours.
No, but we caught that today and we corrected today. So it's in the presentation that I gave here right now. But this is something that we changed in the comprehensive plan. It's in the memo, but I think the presentation that you all got previously did not have that listed.
Yeah.
So that would be,
Chart 11.
I think it was after this. If you keep scrolling through the presentation. Keep going.
I think you have to go back. Back.
I saw it up there when you were presenting.
Not this one, if we can go back.
I saw photovoltaic.
Oh, you have a different set of charts than what we?
Photovoltaics.
Oh, okay.
With an effort, the
I'm looking at
PH.
attachment 4.
There it is.
Floating solar panel.
Yeah, solar facilities to RCE and zoning, and thought I saw floating solar facilities. What is that? Is that a statute we got to comply with?
Yes.
It's what they have in Altamont
Okay.
at Cranes Roost.
And we changed in the comp plan.
Okay.
That, so we just changed, we made the same changes there, so we are now making consistent. This is from, coming from, the last 3 items are coming from the statutes.
Okay, all right. I just saw there were more bullets on there than what was on my chart, and just
Yeah,
had the
you're
question.
right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
One of the places in there, I don't know if it was presentation or the staff report or one of it, is that it's solar panels generally floating in like retention ponds.
Yes,
and
that's the idea.
Stormwater ponds, yeah.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
This is not coming, I mean, it's a good idea. It's not coming from us, it's coming from the state,
We actually
but
wanted
yeah.
to do that at the Aquatic Center way back before we did the geothermal. Remember that?
I do not, I'm sorry.
Can we get a copy of the updated presentation?
Absolutely, yeah.
Could the packet be updated for that? Because there have been people online saying things about this, and
Okay.
that would be an interesting thing to be able to point people
Sure,
to, if that-
yeah. We can
if that's
update that
possible.
for sure,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm also interested in, you know, the R1B and townhomes in it. I think I may have even seen somebody say something along those lines. So if the thought is it was left in there because we don't think it's possible to make that, and so it doesn't matter, does it matter then to just take that out?
So today would not, because we don't have any land in the city that is zone R1B. So we are not
Right, but
removing.
we're proposing to change some to R1B.
We are
Right.
proposing to create now this,
right.
the zoning already existed, but we did not have it mapped.
Yeah.
So now we will be mapping. So if you would like to,
Does the current zoning allow townhomes?
R1B, no,
Well-
R1, no.
So right now, you cannot build a townhome on
No,
these homes.
that is the
but-
only difference, yeah.
Okay, so if it were changed to R1B, which is only being done to make it compliant with the comp plan, and needs to be done to be consistent with the comp plan, then you can. So have we, perhaps by accident, created a scenario where we have changed the future land use maps to allow greater density than anyone may have intended in this area?
This is not a recent change. So this,
But you're saying that townhomes are not allowed now and have never been allowed, and that somehow is not consistent with the future land use. That's what I'm trying to understand better.
Well, it sounds like we don't have to allow townhomes because R1B does not exist in the city, so we can take it out now to not zone by accident, right? Is that correct? Because I
It was in-
believe that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
But it was invented for a reason. I'm trying to understand the reason why it was invented.
well, townhomes, R1B, because it's a MDR zoning, right? It's a zoning with less, it is more inclined to have townhomes, you know. So if you're going to create a new subdivision with R1B zoning, you could have townhomes. If you meet the density, you have to meet the density, right? But the density MDR is 8 dwelling units per acre. So you could have, but so now the situation that we have now is that we are changing the zoning for an existing group of people, right? And we are bringing this use that is different from the previous use that they have.
So if it's not added, the only way to flex on the increased density and intensity would be to demolish all the existing houses that are on lots that are, you know, and I'll put it in air quotes, too large, and then rebuild single-family homes on smaller lots. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you would have to. So if it would be, so if it would be a massive aggregation, right, or it would be a PSP. They would, they would have to go through the process. But if you have a situation that you have one large lot that could have 3 units, because a townhome definition is 3 attached units, then you kind of change the character in a neighborhood if you had that situation. So if you want to avoid that situation, we could remove the townhome as a permissible use in R1B.
Would a duplex be allowed if we were to remove?
Duplex is not allowed.
It's still not allowed. So it would be either single-family home or 3 or more attached. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to skip the middle.
I just wanted to bring, that the only difference that we have in R1 and R1B is the townhome component.
Maybe I misunderstand, but Mr. Cobb, you and I talked about this a little earlier. And maybe this is a different neighborhood, but some of the neighborhoods, the impetus from going from R1 to R1B was because the lot width was already too narrow.
Correct.
And less that it didn't match the comp plan and more that what was on it is non-conforming.
That is correct.
Yes, but
One
there-
of the things I would like to also, something touching back on what the mayor was talking about, when we did the comprehensive plan update in 2022, these neighborhoods, if I remember correctly, these neighborhoods were already medium-density residential. They weren't changed in '22. They were already medium-density residential, and they had the R1 zoning. As Mr. Ott and I discussed today, R1 zoning has a minimum lot width of 80 feet. And take with the Allendale, the actual platted lots, I believe, are 60 feet?
50.
50 feet, and then when you take 1.5, you get a 75-foot lot. You still, even with the building lot, you still have a non-conforming lot because it's not 80 feet wide. There's an 8,500 square foot minimum lot area as well, and I don't think those lots meet the 8,500. And so the idea, one of the ideas we were talking about today was changing the zoning, one, to meet the medium-density residential future land use designation, but two, to bring these lots into conformity. In other words, when you have with an R1B, I believe it's 50 feet is the minimum?
I think it's 60.
Minimum is 60 feet wide. Now, if
We
you have a
have-
75-foot building lot, you have a conforming lot, and the building's conforming. So it brings much more flexibility to the property owner. Let's say that they wanted to bring in they wanted to make an addition onto the house. You know, they would have the flexibility to do that now without having to go through an arduous process of deviations and nonconformity reviews, and because one of the things we can't do is increase in nonconformity. And so that's one of the reasons why that looking at these neighborhoods that were already medium-density residential, which obviously a small townhome complex probably would meet with the 8 dwelling units per acre. But it the R1B brings those lots, gives it a zoning district in which those lots can comply. There is no nonconformance anymore. And so that was the whole thing. You got a zoning district that met the future land use designation, and the platted lots that were there now have a zoning district that they comply with, rather than being in R1 and not being wide enough or have enough minimum area. So those were the basic things.
Yeah, but I would add one thing. So Allendale is one subdivision that is very regular. So all the lots have the same size. But other subdivisions have a variation. So most of the lots do not meet, the R1 minimum requirements, but some do and exceed. So these are the ones that could be technically split into townhomes. So we have situations in those lots that they would have to have 14,000 and some change square footage to be able to meet the density for 3 units.
So can we take that out? Can we not do that? You said you could take out the townhome
The
thing.
townhome.
I mean, I would be in favor of doing that without adding more uses than what currently sit there, and we still can make them compliant without potentially putting their neighborhood at risk.
Well, but now I'm thinking, does that help? Because
Well, that doesn't change anything if you do that.
well,
Because you could
'cause
still
they're already
aggregate lots.
MDR. So since they're MDR, you could get 3 or 4 lots, bulldoze everything, and then now MDR can turn into R2, right?
Well, through a rezoning, coming
through a
to the
rezoning, but-
process,
yeah.
yes. Well,
But by right, they would be able to, it would be quasi judicial to turn it into R2 from MDR, future land use, right?
I think it's still a rezoning. You have to show that you meet the requirements, and it's you have different zonings. Let's pull the table that shows the future land use and the zoning.
Yeah.
But that's
Dr.
a
Correa,
that-
yeah, I can jump in a little bit on this. Let me just create a hypothetical here, because I can't name particular neighborhoods for you and say this and that. Let's say you had a neighborhood that, so you took out the townhome piece here, but you rezoned them all in a mass rezoning to R1B. And then an owner of 4 or 5 of those lots then came in and applied to rezone it from R1B to R2, all right? That would be a quasi judicial zoning application that would go through the entire process, they do not have a legal entitlement. You know, wave a magic wand and automatically it goes to R2, all right? A property owner is entitled to a zoning consistent with their future land use. What's proposed right now is a mass rezoning that would provide them a zoning that is consistent with their future land use. With the medium density, the MDR right now, R1B is consistent with that pursuant to the code. So they could come and apply to go to R2, but they do not have it as of right that you must give it to them to go up to something higher within that range there. You would look at things like, for example, the character of the area and see that everything else within an existing subdivision is of a completely different character, and that would be something you could take into account. I hope that helps.
Can I just add, I just want to add one other thing, and I completely agree with what you just, everything you just said. So when we're looking at rezonings, we look at the different zoning classifications. So for MDR, as Mr. Vos said, you have R1B that's consistent, R1B that's consistent, R1C that's consistent, R2 and R3. So what we look at when people come and request a rezoning, and as Mr. Vos says, they're not automatically granted the zoning that they're requesting. We have to make sure that that zoning is first consistent with the comprehensive plan and then compatible with the surrounding uses and surrounding zonings. So they're not obligated, the city isn't obligated to honor that request as long as we give them a zoning district that is consistent with the comprehensive plan is what matters. So they're not, and R2 does allow duplexes, but this particular zoning district does not allow duplexes. And as Dr. Correa said, we can tonight because we're at, it's basically a discussion. So if you want to remove townhomes as a permissible use from the R1B, we can do that. We're not at a public hearing stage, so there's still time to do that.
I'm inclined to, when do we need to make a decision by?
Today?
Today,
Yeah,
okay.
we're on a
That's
tight
what I was
schedule.
thinking. Okay, so my inclination on this is if the density is allowed and people can still accumulate lots and they can do these things somehow or another to not make it allowable by right when the density can be had, all that does is create additional fees to be collected, additional work for you to do, and we are back to a quasi-judicial hearing where somebody will still be able to check the boxes and say, I have X square feet of a lot, I want to build townhomes or duplexes or whatever the case may be, because are not all of these things consistent with the future land use of medium-density residential? They are. Okay, so
The other thing that I was going to say is that all these subdivisions have homeowner association, right?
So, yeah, can
there
they
are also
even break
addition-
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's an
think,
HOA there.
well, there's not on Allendale,
Allendale?
there's
Allen-
not
no,
off of Reed Road.
Allendale would not be, Allendale, they would have to do a massive.
It would be very
They have to buy
cumbersome.
all the houses.
Yeah. The large ones that I was talking about, the large lots, they have homeowner association, I'm assuming.
Which ones?
It
Foster's
would
Grove?
be, no, Foster Grove
that's
is
The
not
Allendale
there.
does not have an HOA.
So let's go to the next.
Most of these do not have HOAs.
They do not have these are not the large ones.
I don't know that-
Let's move to
I don't think any
these
of them do.
ones.
I don't think so either, yeah.
I don't think they
So
have.
if we say it's okay, it is then
Okay. if
okay.
they- Yeah.
Can I just say one other thing? The future land use, the comprehensive plan, which is medium-density residential, does not list typologies. It just says residential up to 8 dwelling units per acre. So single-family is also consistent with the future land use designation as well. So I just wanted to add that.
I'm inclined to not just leave it, but add that duplexes are allowed by right as well, because this avoids a rezoning that is unlikely to ever be asked for or achieved ever. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure why we would go and add, I'm not sure why we would add that, because it's not currently, so it's MDR. They would have to go through, as is right now, if somebody wanted R2, they could apply, and that would be quasi-judicial, right? Staff would decide whether that is consistent.
If there is transition, if it's compatible with the surrounding.
And if it's a big enough lot, like that's the kicker right there. If it's a
And
big
we
enough
would
lot.
not change the zoning from one lot, right?
No, well, you'd have
We
to
would-
have a few of them, right? You'd have to buy a few people
Yeah.
out, want to turn it into something.
So in the future,
Um,
this will happen, right? We know this will happen.
Maybe, maybe not.
Redevelopment will happen, right? I don't know when, but it will happen. It's plausible to assume that it will happen with prices of land.
It might just be a long time.
The issue is that do we want to stimulate that or not, right? But it's not easy to meet the density, and it's not easy to meet the lot, the minimum lots for, to be able to have one lot subdivided into 3.
Well, and then also you've got to add sewer. So there's the sewer component. I mean, there's just, I'm just thinking the technical hurdles that a person would have to overcome is incredible. And if somebody wants to do that, to then throw up an additional hurdle when they can get the yes through a quasi-judicial hearing, the additional hurdle of, and you also have to do a rezoning, which is essentially a rubber stamp to get the yes, if they're willing to do all these other things that are incredible hurdles. I don't know. Y'all know where I'm at.
Well,
on
that's
this.
the question. Is it a rubber stamp, right? Because what
For the
Mr. Bose said
rezoning,
earlier was that if R1B is consistent with the future land use, then they're not entitled to change it. But if staff then decides that they can change it, thinking about like competent substantial evidence, right? Staff's recommendation becomes competent substantial evidence. That it's essentially up to staff then to say, yes, you can have this, because, as we witness in here, nobody else comes forward and brings competent substantial evidence otherwise, right? Typically. So.
Well, staff would have to have a good basis to recommend approval, right? And we would have, if it meets the analysis of compatibility, a good transition, then we would recommend approval. If not, we would not.
Okay, so I think the question we, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I can give you 2 contrasting hypothetical fact patterns here. We pick one of these neighborhoods here. Imagine a hypothetical universe where a developer came in and bought every single lot in the entire thing, and then said, hey, we'd like to do something completely different here, or something substantially different, consistent with the future land use, and they can come in and demonstrate that a new zoning is going to satisfy all the criteria and have compatibility with the surrounding uses and so on. That's probably going to be a pretty straightforward one on a rezoning coming before you all. If in contrast you had a development pattern that is single-family detached residential, that is an established neighborhood, folks have been in there for decades, then all of a sudden developer put together 3 or 4 of them, right in view of all the rest of them, and then decided, aha, it's going to be townhouses now, when the neighborhood's been single-family residential for decades. It could very well be on that fact pattern, given all the facts you have there, that there would not be competent substantial evidence that would support staff giving a recommendation to approve on that, depending on what zoning they're looking to go to and so on. As with all quasi-judicial matters, it can be very fact-dependent. It's not merely they have a future land use, so they're automatically allowed any one on that list. They're entitled to one on that list, one that's you all decide to allow them to have that's supported by competent substantial evidence.
Well, and that makes me feel better, because scenario 2 is what I'm worried about. someone buying up 3 houses and then throwing a townhouse in the middle of your neighborhood. People are not going to be happy.
Well, if that's the case, then we should just take townhomes off, because it doesn't prevent somebody from doing what they could do in case one, right? I mean, they would need a rezoning, but you're going to buy up the whole neighborhood and rezone it, and build something on it. That's probably not a terrible hurdle.
I would speculate that would be a more straightforward rezone, yeah.
Right. And in this case, it adds, one more barrier to prevent people from doing what the residents in that area probably don't want done.
That's where I'm sitting.
A change
That's
of
kind of where
character
I
in the
feel about it.
neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're deciding to take them off or leave them?
I would like to take the townhome.
Deputy Mayor.
You agree?
Deputy Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
Madeline, could you go to the slide that has the permissible uses table on it? I think, Dr. Correa, didn't you have a slide with that permissible uses table?
We have.
But that's the gist of it, right?
Yes.
Take it off or leave it in?
Take it off or leave it, townhomes.
I'm going to make a suggestion to you in looking at this. And the thing that I'm looking at lot structure as well, as far as minimum lot sizes and zoning setbacks and everything. If we're going to do this, my recommendation to you, you can see up there where it says single-family attached townhome. We should take it out of R1B, R1BB, and R1C. You start at R2. And then under duplex, take it out of R1C. There's no way, unless you're building 2 tiny homes next to each other of 900 square feet, you're not going to get that on an R1C.
Does that affect any current zoning in the city?
Shouldn't.
That's 1.3 and 1.4?
Yeah, if I'm, in looking at the discussions that you're having and looking at the table that was provided as well, where we start looking at minimum lot sizes and setbacks and things and saying, okay, this can be done. But in the scenario of blank slate, rebuild, everything, yes, it works. But if we're looking at taking 2 or 3 lots and everything, we might have, if you look at R1B, R1BB, and R1C, those lot structures and setback requirements aren't conducive to the single-family attached townhome or the duplex unit. If you look at, as far as if you're thinking of building a duplex that, let's say, has two units of
It's the same issue.
1,200, So I would recommend that you remove it out of all 3 of the zoning districts and then take the duplex out of R1C and start it at R2.
My only concern is to be more restrictive to
yeah,
zoning.
Well, you
Do
guys
we-
know
do
that
we
I
have
don't like to
existing-
lock and amber any more single-family residential than absolutely has to be. To not allow any natural progression
Townhome that we are removing.
towards, if you keep the look the same, but you change the number of families that can live there, I think that is exactly what people are hoping to do, is stay in their neighborhoods and not have to, if you have a single-family home in Allendale, for example, I know a few people who live there, they don't really want to move, but they would like to not have a yard someday. So if there's an opportunity to be in a duplex in that neighborhood, what would the economics have to look like for somebody to build that? I don't think it's very likely, but to prohibit that or to put up roadblocks, I don't know that that's what people genuinely want.
I think, although it's MDR, I think just removing from R1B, it's still a transition. I would not affect R1BB, R1C, R2, and R3. If we are to remove, I think I would only remove the R1B.
All right, so can we, to put this back, we're going to say yay or nay on townhomes in R1B. So I'm going to say I don't want townhomes in R1B and see if there's 3 of us up here on board with that.
From what I hear, I'm okay with taking it out.
Taking it out?
I was aligned with the mayor on leaving it in.
Leaving it in? It is up to you.
I would like to take it out, because I think the residents who live there already almost certainly don't want that in. If you live next to the
Until they
place
go to
where-
sell, when they go to sell to the highest bidder, who will take their 57-year-old house and put something new there because they can't figure out how to keep it another generation. redevelopment has its place. The land has already been cleared. People live there and they want to continue living there. It's a,
Well, who wants to continue living there? The people who are not punching out, right?
Well,
I mean,
we have consensus.
okay, yeah, 3 people want to do
Well,
it.
I
So,
don't-
yeah.
I mean, I kind of see it, I do see it both ways. I mean,
But they can
there's-
buy the whole block and rezone and do that.
They-
That's a possibility.
they could.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's where we're at.
that possibility still remains, that they could still rezone and do the thing.
Because it's MDR, yeah.
Okay.
We're not saying no forever. We're saying no piecemeal.
No piecemeal, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
That's how I feel.
that's,
Okay, so we're taking out townhomes.
All right.
And then
We'll
I
do that.
think, were there any other questions on this topic?
No.
Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you.
All right, we have made it. We are up to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Welcome to December, what not most people call the most joyous time of the year. We call it the busiest time of the year. We have a number of things going on in the month of December, and I asked Mr. Belden if he would come give you an update. We do have some things going on this week, this Thursday and this Saturday, and as well as other things. And so I wanted to let him just get us started off with all the things happening in the month of December.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cobb. Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, who's ready for parade? We've got, as Mr. Cobb said, it is a busy time of the year. Staff is working very diligently hard to put on 3 great events and programs upcoming. This Thursday, December 4th, is the annual tree lighting event at Center Lake Park. It's from 5 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. We actually flipped the switch at 6:30 to light up Oviedo. It is quite a spectacle. If you've sat up on the hill and you watch thousands of residents looking up and coming together and gather, it's truly a great moment, and we're looking forward to your participation on Thursday. That will actually lead into our winter parade on Saturday, December the 6th. That will begin approximately, lead out parade time is 7 p.m. From the gymnasium and aquatics facility. We're asking participants to show up starting at 4 p.m., gather their spot in line. They can get their costumes on, decorate their vehicles, practice, whatever their forte is for that parade. We will have a float participating this year, some council members participating. I think we've kind of shared those guidelines, but we'll have more information tomorrow passed out to you. I can answer any questions on the parade at this time or at the end of this. We also have one final event that we're planning, and that's our Winterfest event, which is Saturday, December 13th, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Cultural Center, Center Lake Park area. A kid-friendly event, typical vendors, food trucks, games, activities, performances. We'll be selling wristbands.
so
Fun
it's,
times will
you
be
can't,
had.
there's nothing you can do other than walk around without paying?
No, the wristband is only to take part in the activities such as the bounce houses. And,
So, yeah,
but
all
you
the
can walk around
things.
for free. You
Okay.
can visit vendors for free. Typical event that we put on. And then also mixed in with there with our fellow fire department, we also have Santa's Run mixed in. I believe that's the next week, every night of the week. And I know that that's a truly remarkable event as well, where all council members are involved. And that's pretty much a full slate of programs. Are there any questions I can entertain this evening?
Any questions?
Oh, well, you said with the Winterfest, there's performances. You can see the performances without a wristband, correct? Yeah,
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's all free, so.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Belden.
you.
Deputy Mayor, I'm glad he mentioned Santa Run, the 8th through the 12th. We also, this Friday, we have the Police Awards Banquet, and that'll be at the Cultural Center as well. So just wanted to get everybody caught up on all the different things going on in December. It's a lot of stuff, so. That's all I have, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Bose.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Britton.
Okay, I had a Christmas tree lighting, a holiday parade, a Winterfest. That's all taken care of. But we do have one event on the 11th. Did you mention the 11th?
3 p.m.
3 p.m., okay. The Jolie?
The Jolie.
Okay. And that kind of goes along with what the artist said today, that's a linkage to our past and our heritage to have Jolie recognized. So I think that'll lead to more of those types of plaques and statues coming up. So
And Joe Lee's nephew was here earlier in the meeting, so he'll be there as well.
And that reminds me, if you know anyone who's related to him, I've invited those that I know and to come out there and be part of the recognition. So let's go to the comments. I kind of chuckled because I was at Oviedo Mall Boulevard today in De Vera, and it was just the opposite. No one was moving. Everyone was afraid to move when I got there. Even the people turning right on the Oviedo Boulevard were sitting there, and they were all being very cautious. Now, I know the gentleman's probably seen more of what he was talking about, so Chief, I don't know, can we start handing out tickets? I wouldn't sit out there and wave at them to make sure they stop. I would give them tickets, and that'll help stop it.
The email has already been sent.
Okay, good deal. And then on the Sweetwater Park, I don't know if we want to pave that or not, Brian, but maybe we can get it regraded or get some gravel put down to help that out?
We recently put millings in.
Oh, Bobby, okay.
And yeah, Mr. White, we actually did get a request from a resident because there were considerable potholes in the drive, and staff went out. I'll let Mr.
Council, good evening. I can update actually on both of those items. For the first one on the Mall Boulevard, let me speak to that one real fast. There's a design it's almost done, which will basically restripe that intersection. Basically, the turn lanes go away, so it'll be more direct turning movements, and it'll calm it down.
That's on Magnolia?
I'm sorry, De Vera and
okay.
Mall Boulevard.
First one, okay.
Wanted to circle back to the
Talking
first one.
Sweetwater.
And then for Sweetwater Park, believe it or not, so Magnolia Street, which has been closed now for about a year and a half,
Yeah.
the bids came in. So at the next council meeting on the 15th, we're actually going to award the bid for the repair. Included with that repair is resurfacing of the entrance of Sweetwater Creek.
Okay,
So that is there.
okay.
To be
But what
completed.
about the rest of the road? And is it all dirt road through there, or?
Well, I think
I guess it's an
I
entrance
don't know
to
the
the
exact
parking lot?
distance, but where it's paved now gets completely redone.
Okay.
So if you go further in, of course, that's all dirt. That would have to be regraded or add millings or
Yeah,
whatever to
that's the-
smooth it out.
Yeah, just smooth it out or something.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
One thing too, Mayor, you had asked about the mast arms, and something that Mr. Wyatt explained to me
What-
today. The mast arm that was the danger.
Yes, that one has been removed. That's not there anymore.
Okay.
There's still two up there, but and I apologize, I don't remember the specifics of the project. We're dealing with over 60 projects right now, and so I can't remember details of everything. But there are modifications to those existing masts. I believe they come out, the ones that are there, that are still remaining.
Well, it looked like there was some kind of like metal mesh around the bottoms of them, the ones I saw today. I was like, oh, that's
The ones there at the
interesting.
intersection?
The one there, because there's two mast arms still up at that intersection.
Right.
And I guess there's a third that's not.
Right,
up.
they're no longer functional, but they're still
Yes.
in place.
So, you know, it does kind of beg the question, if they're there, and they're not going to actually fall on us, it would be helpful to get some PR going to explain why.
No, I've seen pricing for the intersection, for the improvements estimates that include removal. But I don't want to say that, yes, they're coming out for sure, because sometimes
Okay.
estimates are for different scenarios.
So they are not a danger to anybody, the ones that remain?
No.
But they are not functional because you need the third one for it to be
Yes.
safe to operate?
So you'd have all three
Okay.
movements. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
There's oversized stop signs at that intersection and flags on top of it.
Yes. Well,
Hence, everyone was stopped.
no matter what we do, I can't change human nature. I can't stop speeding, I can't stop red light running or stop sign running. And it occurs not only in Oviedo, it's everywhere. So I see it in Winter Springs quite often myself, so try as we might.
Chief's going to get it. I already sent an email.
Okay, Mr. DeVore and Mr. Greby, congratulations. Mayor Sladik, Mayor Tuchert, or Deputy Mayor Tuchert, congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to another 2 years.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
All right. I'm up next, so I want to say I'm excited to go for term 3 here. So it's always a pleasure serving up here, and I do agree with what the mayor said earlier. We all disagree quite often, actually, but we do it pretty well. So I'm looking forward to another 2 years doing that. I think we hit almost everything I asked for. I did want to ask if we're getting a good number of applicants for our charter review committee. I don't know if we know that yet.
I think we have 6. We have 6 applicants.
And when are we looking to have those done? I have been spreading the word quite a bit, but.
The deadline's December 6th.
December 6th. So we have 6 applicants, and we said we were going to appoint like 15 people. So I guess this is my reminder to everybody in the city that we are looking for volunteers for our Charter Review Committee, and to make sure those of us up here go out and remind people to apply. And that's all I have, other than have some good holidays coming up. Mayor Sladig.
Y'all covered everything. No report.
All right. Councilmember Ott.
I don't have anything specific. I'm looking forward to the event coming up. And, I think that's about it. As far as charter review goes, can that go like on our PR, social media, something like that?
It has a
It's
lot.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's, okay, so it's been a lot. So for some reason, I don't see those come across my social media, so, anyway.
I feel like I've been reminded daily.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing a good job.
All right, well, that's all I've got.
Okay. Councilmember Butterford.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of stuff. Congratulations, James and David. We appreciate your volunteerism and stepping up. So it's a great community service, so we appreciate you guys doing that. Congratulations, Natalie, Megan. So, great job on a very tough campaign,
Thank you. I worked hard on this one.
But it goes to show you, too, that people, I mean, for the most part, are, don't think that there's anything wrong, seriously wrong, that they're looking to change anything. So, again, congratulations. And we talked about the tree lighting, the holiday parade, so, and then you get the police awards banquet on Friday night. So, that's it.
Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the order? It is 8:06 p.m. And I'm going to read the next meeting. Our next meeting is December 15th at 6:30 p.m. We have a regular session. January 5th, 6:30 p.m. a regular session. Tuesday, January 20th, on a Tuesday
Martin Luther King.
because of MLK Day. Good reason. January 20th at 6:30 p.m. And then Monday, January 26th at 5:30 p.m.
It's still tentative.
We have a tentative work session. Is there anything else for the good of the order? It is now 8:07 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.